name is Kelly Williamson, and I'm a certified Food for Life instructor. Here in Denver, Colorado, we have this famous show that everybody knows about. It's called PBS. We absolutely love it, and every single week we watch it, and there's always shows about healthy cooking, healthy lifestyle, healthy living, anything that has to do with healthy. It just seems to be a big focus here in Colorado. One of my most favorite people, though, on that show is Dr. Neal Barnard. So one of the things that we always talk about, that everybody wants to live a healthy lifestyle. We really want to get into, like biking and eating the right foods and all those type of things. And it seems really easy to do. And you go and you see Dr. Neal Barnard on the show, and you get all excited about it, and you buy all the books, and you buy tofu and all those wonderful things they tell you about. And then you get going on it, and about 2 or 3 weeks into it, those cravings start coming back, and you go buy McDonald's, and you smell the French fries, and the sugar, and the hamburgers frying, and the barbecue, which is probably one of my favorite smells when I go by. It's nothing like, sucking up the barbecue smell through your nose. I don't eat it, but I definitely love the smell. So you get those cravings going, and it's hard when you go into a restaurant and they walk by with that plate of fajitas. So to help make it easy, one of the things that I want to do for you is to actually perform cooking demos. So what I'm going to do is I'm going through each one of Dr. Neal Barnard's books, and I'm doing cooking demos from all the different recipes that are in there. So you can see how quick and easy it is to make it. Most recipes are probably 10 minutes or less, which is absolutely wonderful when you're coming home and you're tired and you've worked 12-hour days and you're thinking, wow, it'd be easier to go through McDonald's and grab that $4.99 Big Mac with a Coke and fries and supersize it than it is to come home and think about making something on the stove. But let me show you some quick, easy recipes, and then eventually in other videos and stuff we'll start getting into ones that take a little bit more prep. But I want to get you kind of started with it, and then you can find some of your favorites and keep that healthy lifestyle going. So let's get into the cooking demo, which I think is the most important part. Alright, so we're going to actually, this one here, and the book that we're featuring is, of course, Dr. Neal Barnard's program. He's actually been on the PBS with this, and it's reversing diabetes. So that's one of the definitely diseases and stuff that I think a lot of people want to reverse. So these are recipes out of this book. We're going to do one recipe first. That is the broccoli stir fry, and it's either with black bean sauce that you can get in the stores. If you can't find that, another good replacement is the hoisin sauce. So hopefully I pronounced that right, and if I didn't, go ahead and laugh at me now in the video. But this is actually a really good thing. It's kind of like a black bean sauce, a little bit sweeter, but it's a really good sauce that goes on it. There's no fat, no those calories, things like that in it. So let's go ahead and get started with this. So one of the things we're going to do is we're going to get the sauce going. So we have ginger. Ginger you can buy and you can grate it up and you can do that. Doesn't stay long in the fridge, so one of the other things that's quick and easy that you can always have is have them in these little squeeze things. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon of ginger. Squirt it out. How easy is that? Throw that in there, and you put the screw cap back on, throw it back in the fridge, and you have it for the next time. Never have to worry about it getting moldy or going bad. I've actually had this one. Actually, some of these and stuff are probably up to 6 months, so they're good for that. They keep fresh as long as you keep the cap on it. Then you're going to use some tamari. So the recipe that Dr. Neal Barnard has in his book doesn't have any tamari in it. But this one instead, he actually says sherry. But if you don't have sherry, which a lot of us don't have around the house, tamari is a great thing. So we're going to do 3 tablespoons is what the recipe asks for. So you can just pour those out. If you don't know about tamari, you can get this in pretty much all the Whole Food stores, but you can also get this in King Soopers, Safeway, your local grocery store anymore. It's always with your Worcestershire sauce, your ketchups and that. It's really good, and it's actually lower calories and lower sodium content and stuff than your regular soy sauce. And it has a little bit of a kind of a nutty flavor, which is really good. Just pour those out. So there's 2. And be careful, especially if you're just coming home from this, it splatters all over the place. All right, and then we've got the hoisin sauce or your black bean, so 2 tablespoons of that. And if you can't quite get, like the tablespoon thing doesn't fit in there, go ahead and grab your half a tablespoon, a little bit easier. So that's about 1 1/2. More. Alright, dump those out, throw that in the sink. And then the other thing that I forgot, but let me go ahead and grab that right now, is a little bit of cornstarch. You can actually buy, they call it, they have the regular cornstarch that's, that's more organic, or you can just get the regular cornstarch. I looked at both of them, looked at the package. There's really not much difference with that. So you got a little bit of the cornstarch, and you've got, it's 1.5 teaspoons. So let me just grab another teaspoon. And I'm only going to go with actually, oh, there we go, 1 teaspoon. Put that out of the way. And then you just mix it up. So you notice it's just kind of a pasty mix. But this is actually going to be your sauce that you're going to put on there. The cornstarch is going to make it a little bit thicker. So when it goes in and you've got the little bit of the vegetable broth that you mix the vegetables in, it doesn't get really it doesn't get like thin and stuff. So this will actually stick to the vegetables. So you just stir it up, make sure that cornstarch is really mixed up in there. And as long as you mix cornstarch with some kind of a liquid water, it actually blends up really well. It smells wonderful. It smells like a great Chinese restaurant. So we'll just leave that off to the side. And as I have as I got white stuff all over me, this is what happens when you're actually cooking. So let's go ahead and get started with the vegetables. So I've got regular old vegetable broth, so you can buy it here in the little containers, or you can actually make your own, because when you're cutting up all the vegetables and you're living a plant-based lifestyle, you're always going to have like the ends of the broccoli and the different ends and stuff of the peppers. So you can cut those up, put them in a freezer bag, Ziploc bag, stuff, put them in there, and then when you're done and you've got a huge bag full of vegetables, then what you do is you just want to take them out, throw them in a pot of some boiling water, not a whole bunch, and then just let it simmer for a couple hours, drain and strain all your vegetables out, because they're all kind of mushy and stuff, and keep all the broth, and then actually put that into a little box or a bag somewhere, and you've got fresh vegetable broth, and then you don't have any of the salt, any of the other additives that they put into it. But Pacific brand's actually really good. So I'm just going to pour a little bit, so we have the wok. So I'm just going to pour a little bit in the wok, just to get it going. As you can hear, I already have the wok going, make it a little bit warm. So then, I have the onions and the garlic, so let me pull the garlic off right now. Get this out of the way. Chopped onions, just dump those in. Let those start simmering. Then you have your garlic. So you have the garlic cloves here. Then I have, what I like is instead of chopping up the garlic, I like to have the garlic minced. So I just put it into the garlic mince, press it down like this, have a knife handy. So you just squirt it out, and then it comes through like that, so you just kind of scrape it off a little bit with a knife. It says usually 2 cloves of garlic, so some of my garlic was just a little bit smaller, so I actually got little tiny cloves and put those in there. You can put all 3 of those in once, which is really good. Squeeze it out, scrape it off. How easy is that? The nice thing about it, it keeps the garlic smell off your hands, so you don't get all that chopped smell and everything like that, which is really good, especially the next day. If you're anything like me, you get tired of that garlic smell, even though I do love garlic. Then we have broccoli. So I clean and rinse the broccoli, and then I cut out the little heads, so little tiny pieces of it, and sometimes you'll get a big clump of it, so just cut it down a little bit more or slice it in half, because you want to have little pieces of garlic. So we'll go ahead and dump that in, get that going. Nothing better than garlic. What do they call it? Nature's little scrub brush. And then last but not least, it doesn't say it in the recipe, but I absolutely love red peppers. Nothing better than red peppers, especially if you're doing some type of a Chinese or a wok stir-fry dish. So I cut up some red peppers. As you can see, I cut them up in actually long strips, make it a little bit better. It gives you that crunch, and it's a wonderful flavor. So this is just 1 medium red bell pepper. And I'm going to hold off just a little bit, because sometimes if you put it in a little bit too soon, they get a little mushy, and I don't want that to happen. So let me get a spoon. So we're going to stir up. So we've got the onions. I'll show you what it looks like. So you've just got the onions, you've got the vegetable broth, you've got the garlic, and then you also have the broccoli going. So let me grab the lid for that. So we'll get that going. We'll let that go for just a couple minutes. All right, so we've had the broccoli, we've had the red peppers. I added the red peppers also, those have been cooking. We also have the onions. So they look absolutely wonderful. Adding that red peppers and stuff really made it pop with some color. So it doesn't feel like you're kind of eating a big green glob of something. So adding red peppers, especially if they're red, yellow, those type of things is beautiful. So now we have basically the sauce that we need to be able to put on that. So remember we mixed that up a little bit earlier. So what you're going to do, you're going to dump all that wonderful goodness just right on top. Scrape it all out, make sure you get the last drop, don't want to miss any of that. Okay. Stir it up as it's cooking. So you'll notice and stuff, it just kind of gives just a little bit of a coating on it. It's not real mushy, it's not a lot of sauce on it, but it gives you that wonderful flavor, kind of that nutty flavor. Let that heat for just a second. I've also made some brown rice. Brown rice is one of the best rices that you can do. So just a quick brown rice, because there's nothing better than having kind of a Chinese stir fry right on the brown rice. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of that on the plate. Looks good. And the stir fry is ready. How wonderful. So I know a little earlier, before I actually dump all this on, I know a little earlier I said something about, and I thought I said broccoli, nature's little scrub brushes, but I think I may have seen garlic. So don't eat a lot of garlic. Not sure if that's a good nature scrub brush, but broccoli definitely is. So as you're doing the videos, you know everybody can make a mistake, so here we go. All right, let me go ahead and dump this on. That's a huge plate. Let me put a little bit more of the red peppers on it. You notice that I have a little bit left over. So one of the things, especially if you're single, and they always say that that's one of the hardest things, especially when you're cooking, is when you're single. So if you end up making something like this and there's a lot of food left over and you can't eat it all, nothing better to have leftovers. So I talked about in one of my other videos, buy mason jars. You can buy the large mason jars, you can buy the small ones. What you do is when you have leftovers, throw them in a mason jar, throw a little bit of the brown rice in it too, so maybe brown rice on the bottom, mixture on the top. Throw it in the fridge, next day pull it out, put it into a little lunch bag stuff, take it with you, heat it up. You can heat it up with these, just take your lids off. In the microwave, they're absolutely wonderful. What a great way and stuff to have all kinds of different things that you can take for lunches. Alright, so there's my plate of the broccoli stir fry. It's got the hoisin sauce and the tamari. How much better can it be? Bon appetit. I will see you at the next video. Have a great day. Thanks.